Hello, welcome to the third unit of this subject. In this unit, in number 3, as probably you had seen in Blackboard, you don't have any reading. You don't have any reading text because you have a lot of things and different things. This is a bit different because we are going to explain two different things and you don't need a reading this time. One, it's connecting words that probably you know that they are called linkers. Okay, so you know the linkers. At the same time, I'm explaining you what a linker is. Probably you are remembering connectors. Okay, but with however, furthermore. So this is one explanation of linkers or connectors, and the other part of the class, pre-class, and we will see it together in our video class, in our synchronous class, is about formal or informal way of speaking and way of writing. Okay, so these two pre-classes are a bit shorter, probably all together, both together are half an hour or a bit more than half an hour, but both of them are in unit 3. Okay, so in this case you have something different. You will have a listening, but you have a video explaining about the difference between formal and informal writing. You have exercises of linkers. And why do we do that? Because in this unit we are very concerned and worried about the way of writing. The writing in English is not only writing a composition and that's all. So the way of writing is that you have a rich and academical writing as future teachers that you are going to be, possible teachers of secondary education, or possible researchers that you are do a research and you have to write in a academical English, not only informal hello, how are you, okay, for an informal letter. So we try, when we evaluate your writing, we try to evaluate the way of writing. So if it's a rich, for example, sometimes I correct my composition, students' composition, and they say, but Lourdes, I have no mistakes, but I don't have a 10. But you don't have a 10 because I evaluate everything, not only mistakes. This is not mathematics. So I evaluate the way of writing in a general way, how you structure the writing, so the beginning, introduction, development, and conclusion, the vocabulary you use, the linkers and connectors, or if you write in a too informal way, or you should write in a formal way. We will write in this unit, you have to write two texts, you will see it later, one in a formal way and the same text in an informal way, and you will see the difference between one and the other one. It's like writing an informal letter to a friend or writing a formal letter to a company asking for a job or applying for a job or whatever, okay? So if we were now in our synchronous class, I would ask you what connectors or what linkers do you remember? Okay, the most common ones that you remember are but, then, and, however. I don't know why you always say however, because probably it's a beautiful word. And these are the common ones. But remember that English is compound of small sentences, short sentences that are together by a linker or by a connector. So don't try to write very long sentences like in Spanish. Try to write short sentences but linked. Don't write in a telegraphic way. Write in so for example, my name is, I live in, how are you, or whatever, okay? So my name is, and, so try to connect one sentence with another one, but with good connectors. What are the connectors we are going to see? Okay, for example, you have here, or the functions of the connectors. So coordinating conjunctions, for example, I like reading and, so this is the obvious, this is a basic connector. Correlative conjunctions, that you connect similar grammatical, for example, you will have to either get a job or cut down on your expenses, to say o, either or. Natasha, not only, but, no solo, sí, not only but also. Not only has 2 classes today, but remember that normally when they are correlative, they have to be together. So this, you have to put 2. For example, not only but also. On the other hand, on the one hand, on the other hand, either or, neither nor. So these are correlative. So sí, no, sino, or no solo, sino. Okay, so these are correlation. And the ones that are transitional, that link sentences and link paragraph. For example, I dislike working at night. However, I cannot find a day job. So this is the one that I told you that you always like. However, I don't know why. So rules for punctuating and connecting words. Coordinating conjunctions. The movie has started, but Jane has not arrived. Correlative conjunctions. Eric is not only an outstanding teacher, but is also a gourmet cook. The French bakery downtown sells not only crusty bread but also flaky pastries. As you can see, we put the comma in these 2 sentences, in the previous one, and the other one you don't need a comma. Okay. The transitional words and phrases. So listen, this is all theory, and you don't need to learn all the theory that I have in this grammar explanation. What you have to learn is how to write, how to speak, and why you put one thing or the other one. Okay. So don't worry, because I'm not going to ask you. Never I'm going to ask you how many types of connectors you have. So you don't need to study all this theory. It's just a practice, what I am interested in. Okay, so you have more rules. The weather forecast for today was for cooler temperature with a possibility of rain. Semicolon, punto y coma, however, comma, the sun. Punto y coma is set semicolon, okay? Column is 2 puntos. Okay, so you have here this presentation is, as I told you, is very practical. So I'm not going to be centered in all the theory, but in all the practical things. So in all the slides you have examples so you have we show you the coordinating conjunctions or linkers or connectors, and you have the examples down. And, not only but also, both, and transitional word, also, besides, además, moreover, furthermore, in addition, additionally. So in addition and additionally, so they are very similar, okay? So it's okay if you use one or the other one, but there are more examples. For example, we have seen the movie Gone with the Wind, Lo que el viento se llevó, twice, and we plan to see it again, sorry, and we plan to see it again. So if you take out and, you can put another one. We have seen the movie Gone with the Wind twice, but moreover, furthermore, okay? So both my brother and I know how to play tennis. Both, it's always used when there are 2 people. So when you say, do you like this or that? Never say, I like the 2. You have to say, I like both, okay? In addition, this is the one I wanted to say, that if you can substitute by any of them, because they are all synonyms. Hamed speaks Arabic, sorry, I have to change this, Arabic, French, and English. In addition, he can read German, okay? Or furthermore, he can read German, or moreover, he can read German, okay? So they are all synonyms. For example, for instance, to illustrate specifically, in particular, for example and for instance is exactly the same, and to illustrate it's more formal. For example, last summer I spent 2 weeks in Mexico. For instance, last summer I spent 2 weeks in Mexico. Okay, so they are very similar to Spanish too. Coordinating is but. This is very common, and I don't think we need any other explanation. And we have here transitional words and phrases. So, however, in contrast, conversely, on the contrary, on the other hand, otherwise, still, instead. Listen, instead probably is the only, although there are two connectors that can be at the end of the sentence. For example, it means en lugar de. For example, instead of eating now, I will have lunch later. But you can put it in the end. For example, I'm not going to have lunch now. I will have lunch later instead. Okay. If we try to translate it into Spanish, it's very difficult to translate. En lugar de. So if you put it in the beginning instead of, en lugar de. But if you put it in the end, you know that it's en lugar de, but it has no translation. Okay. I don't know if we have an example here. I don't think we have any example here. But well, I gave it to you. I will do something instead. There is another one that is though. Though, aunque. Okay, though can go at the end of the sentence too. So although she's pretty, she's not popular with men. I can say she's pretty. She's not popular with men, though, a pesar de eso, aunque. So, aunque can be at the beginning, although she's pretty, oh, she's pretty, but she's not popular with men, though, okay? You can have more connectors here that show a concession, so, pero, okay, al mismo tiempo, sin embargo. She's pretty, all the same, or at the same time, she's not popular with men. Using nonetheless, however, or nevertheless, she's pretty. Nonetheless, however, she's not popular with men. So it's something positive and something negative. This is that show a concession, concession. Okay. In spite of and despite is exactly the same. She's not popular with men in spite of being pretty, or despite being pretty. Remember that when in any connection, any connector you put off, you have to put something later, after that. She's not popular with men in spite of, and despite is the same, but after despite or after in spite of, you have to put a gerund. Okay, don't forget that. More example, yet. Okay, yet. There are two words that means the same in English, in Spanish is todavía. Still is for affirmative, and yet it's used for questions or for negative sentences. Albert knows that he should take vitamins, yet aún así he refuses to buy them. Okay, aún así in this case is a connector. Okay, so it's not todavía. But sometimes you confuse it and you say, have you finished yet? In this case, it's not a connector, it's an adverb, todavía, okay? So don't confuse that. I need to wear reading glasses, nevertheless, a pesar de eso, nevertheless, I hate how I look in them. Admittedly, even so, or nevertheless, it's the same. Connecting word that shows similarity, likewise, de la misma manera, similarly, or in the same way. The three of them have the same meaning. Algebra was hard for me in high school. Likewise, I find calculus in college. Okay. Connecting words that show result. So, así pues, accordingly, as a result, consequently, as a consequence, therefore, or thus, así pues, así, de esa manera, they are all very similar and they show a result. For example, Hiroshi got all his verb tenses right in an essay. As a result, he's happy, or as a result, he passed the subject. 4. Mr. Cross received a plague for he was elected Teacher of the Year is similar to because of, a causa de. Connecting with time relationship, well, these are the order, ordinal, first, second, afterwards. First of all, when you are speaking in conclusion. Sorry for conclusion, I have to change it because conclusión is Spanish as a conclusion. Sometimes you are writing and the corrector of Spanish put tilde in conclusión, okay? But you know that in English they don't exist. Meanwhile, mientras tanto, previously, previamente, next, subsequently. Martin is now a student. Previously, he was a sales representative for a pharmaceutical company, okay? Previously, before. Connecting with a show a condition. For example, if you say, dime si quieres o no. Okay, this is not a condition exactly. It's tell me whether you want it or not. Because a condition, you remember that is if. Okay. I have to get dressed quickly or I will be late. Whether she plans to accompany me or not. So there are more or less, not exactly a condition, but there are two possibilities. So you do it or you don't do it. In fact, namely, that is, actually, in other words, remember that actually is a false friend. It's not actualmente. Actually is really or in fact. And many people say, I actually don't know. It actually means really. I really don't know. Okay, don't forget that. If you don't remember what a false friend is, we will see it in our synchronous class. Okay. Or either or. Sometimes you say, but how do you pronounce it? Either or either. It depends. It depends on the area where you speak English. It's like often or often. Okay, you can pronounce them in both ways. If you go to the north of England, for example, they say mother or mother, and really the real English is mother. Okay, it happens the same with either or neither or neither or either. Okay. But it's not important, the difference between pronunciation. For example, you can either ride the bus or take the subway, okay? So, o haces esto o lo otro, so you can choose. And like always, you have to do something to upload and to show me that you have seen the class, okay? And it's just this exercise. This exercise is just to choose a connector to add information. Don't worry about that because probably some of them you can use both, but it's just to show me that you have seen the class, okay? So we have finished the first part of Unit 3. Now we will see the second part, that is formal and informal writing. Thank you very much.